What up, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. It's September 30th, last day of September. October is a few short hours away. And I guess now would be a good time to kind of, I don't know, talk about stuff, recap a few things. Talking about our giveaway that the live coin Q&A is going to be hosting for the duration of the holiday season, which I think is very exciting. In addition, I also wanted to, I don't know, what am I going to talk about? It's going to be a very action-packed holiday, as you guys know. There's going to be lot of scrutiny on how the U.S. Mint decides to move on past David Ryder's resignation. Number one, number two, there was a lot of mint product dropping this month. Yesterday, yeah, was the day in which the U.S. uncirculated sets went on sale. Tomorrow is going to be the drop date for the limited edition proof set, which I know a good number of you are going to be participating in that event. 50,000 count of product that's going to be available. But alongside of that, there's also the ship outs of all those pre-releases of the 5 Morgan dollars and the One Piece dollar. Should be fun, should be exciting, among a few other things. A real quick little note about the market. What's the market doing right now? Well, it's doing okay. I think a lot of the strength that we've seen over the summer, which was kind of unnatural, has kind of like stayed flat throughout the first 30 days of what I consider to be kind of like that holiday season pass through, so like Labor Day, and then from that point forward. So we're not quite 30 days there, but I haven't particularly noticed some big kind of like spikes in certain coins and all that. As a matter of fact, we've seen some pretty surprising drops. Most notable, the 2 coin Silver Eagle reverse proof set that was hot right out of the gate has kind of simmered to kind of like that $300, $325 price level. I can't really tell you guys if that's going to be a static amount of money that we are going to see from the set. I'm gonna fix my camera here. We gotta keep this professional. Boom. We gotta keep the professional production going, stuttering and all. But yeah, surprisingly, we've seen the prices on the 2 coin reverse proof set kind of like stagnate at that level. It was almost like that since the day of it's not technically release, right? It's more so day of ordering, I guess, because the day of release is when ultimately they ship, right? So when it goes to order, that's officially when kind of like the market decides, is it gonna boom, shoot up into the atmosphere, the stratosphere, or is it going to like stay flat and drop and all that? By the way, that's what I expect to see from the limited edition proof set, because it's the same narrative every year, going all the way back to like 2016 when they first started doing these. The U.S. Mint asks for this absorbent amount of money for this particular set, and beforehand it used to be, okay, you got these 5 silver quarters, which by the way, it's not like that this year, obviously, because the ATB National Park program ended as of beginning of this year. And then we saw this one-shot Washington crossing the Delaware state quarter, which is going to be no more after this year. Okay, and that's another fun topic to talk about, because we're seeing these crown die chip coins climb it like super steep, like on ladder steep, like someone's climbing to the roof steep. And I don't know how sustainable that is. Now, it really all depends on overall supply, like how many of these are actually out there. Did the mint catch them early? Did they replace the dies, relatively early, or that reverse die, not so much the obverse die. But yeah, I expect to see the prices on, because it's $235 for this limited edition proof set, that instead of 5 quarters, it's been replaced with the changeover pair of Silver Eagles, the reverse of 86 and the reverse of 2021. So that's another thing to take into consideration. It may not affect the price of the limited edition proof set at all, but I could tell you this one thing. It's going to be an opportunity for folks that weren't able to grab a hold of either coin or both coins, for them to kind of insta buy the thing. One's a San Francisco Mint, one's a West Point, and I don't know which one specific. I think the Type 2 newer reverse is the West Point, and the other one is San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, that's what we're going to see from the Mint. Aside from that, between now, or let me rephrase that, between October 2nd, after the limited edition proof set finally goes on sale and it's done, that's it. That's it for any stimulating type of US Mint product that's going to be made available on the US Mint website. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see, because we haven't heard anything about any releases for 2022. Usually, they'll put the tab in the US Mint website for 2022 product, the same way that they did last year. They did it right around kind of like the end of October and into November. It was like right in between there. And they put it on there, and they'll put the first like 2-3 months of product on there. And usually you're going to see things like the first proof set. You're going to see a couple of like New Year's gift type deals. You're going to see maybe a new innovation dollar. You're going to see the first Silver Eagle proof. And that's generally it. It's not a very spicy lineup at the beginning of the year. Hardly is every year. But usually we see very cool product between now and like mid-November. I think when it did come out in 2019, that S enhanced reverse proof Silver Eagle, the one that everyone was going gaga over because it had like a sub 30,000 mintage, was made available. I think I remember when it was, because our family went to Hawaii, and I was on an airplane when that thing dropped. There's no way that I could have ordered that thing. But because the Wi-Fi on the plane sucked, I tried it. However, that was a set that was first week of November. Okay, and it was just a just complete utter shit show, and it still is. Buying from the U.S. Mint on any hot product is a shit show. I would expect, hopefully, that we see some sort of different change on the e-commerce platform that the U.S. Mint's using. Somehow I doubt it, but I'm giving them probably a 0.5% chance that is going to happen. And it'll be the greatest thing in the world if and only if that they could get that done. But it's also going to mean that if you're not on the US Mint website to buy a low mintage thing, you're out. Okay, it's just going to be that easy. So it'll be interesting to see how things develop under new management at the Mint. But yeah, that's going to be interesting topic of a conversation. I'm sure we're going to revisit this sometime during late winter, early spring-ish. Hopefully when we see like a Q2 product hit the US Mint website, and it's going to be a rip-roaring, just fun fest of great things to talk about in March and April. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. So I got some change back today in the form of this dollar bill. You see that? It was interesting because I ended up with 4 $1 bills, and I got this, and I was like, wait a minute, there's something definitely off there. But when you look at it closer, there's actually like a decal overlay. Only it doesn't look like a decal. It looks like it's like ironed on there. But that's pretty interesting. I don't know if that means anything, but it says New Jersey right there over the second set of initials right there. But you have like a skyline and all that stuff. It's weird. I've never seen this before. Some of you probably seen these dollar bills, but yeah, I ended up with this, which goes into my next topic of conversation, and probably the one thing that you guys are ready to kind of chat about in the comments below, and that's going to be Coin World had done an article, I think today, about a blog or something to that effect on PhiladelphiaFed.org. Okay, so it's the Fed Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. A writer by the name of Solomon H. Tarlin had done an expose on the future of cash, and this is a very interesting article because up to this point, I've always assumed that the coin shortage and the cash shortage has been largely attributed as being a logistical issue, an employment issue through like the Federal Reserve Bank, through the armored car companies, and even at the bank level. And it turns out that that may not be the case. So I wanted to take some time to quickly talk about what Mr. Tarlin had discussed in his paper called "The Future of Cash," and so where is this thing? It's weird. Anyways, he had mentioned that that there was possibly a hoarding problem with not so much businesses or banks or anything like that, but more with regular people like you and I. Because in the last 12 to 18 months, we've seen a pretty apparent transition from the world that we know it, where we got to exchange currency like this for our goods and services. And now we're seeing a lot more dependency on digital payment systems. And my dog agrees. There's something funny going on here with this cash shortage. But people are paying more with technology than they are with the actual physical form of fiat currency, which, by the way, this shit right here, yeah, it's if it's not backed by gold, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'd rather have truly safe haven type assets. Okay, I can't be the only one out there, but he made a very valid point is that with the improvements in payment technology, specifically credit and debit cards, okay, because I found that I've paid more with credit and debit cards in the last 2 years than I ever have, and the rapid growth of online transactions as the decline in the cash share has led to some businesses choosing not to accept cash payments. I have noticed that because a lot of these companies are doing like the Square Trade and the Apple whatever device that they use. They look like an iPad on crack. They're kind of elaborate looking, pretty neat. You stick your credit card in there, or you do like an Apple Pay scenario or something like that with like a QR code. Many policymakers have discussed interventions to ensure access to the modern economy for consumers who prefer to pay in cash. Despite the reduced use of cash as a means of payment, currency in circulation has continued to increase in many countries, including the US. This increase suggests that cash is still providing utility as a store of value. This paper surveys literature and data on the use of cash as a means of payment and discusses how and why the cash share is falling in the United States and around the world. Furthermore, it also discusses the opportunities and challenges of our transition away from cash for consumers, businesses, and society. So what's not included in here, and it's like an abbreviated article, it doesn't show the whole thing, but Solomon had also mentioned that there seems to be more families, more regular people like you and I feel like I'm rehashing the same thing I just talked about 4 minutes ago. People are holding on to money, okay? And they're also holding on to coin. They're holding on to coin by quite a huge margin. And because of that, we're seeing less coin out there in commerce and through the banking system and through the Federal Reserve banks and all that. So I don't know if that's the case. I had to kind of look back through the last 12 years of just like regular transactions. I do know that I've bought a ton of stuff online. Furthermore, I've paid with different methods that I've never used before. Okay, I don't usually use Venmo, but I paid for a sizable currency transaction, which you guys will see here probably in the next few days. I bought a really nice paper money collection and had paid for it through Venmo, out of all things. I did it as a goods and services because it's owned by PayPal. That's a parent company for Venmo, and I paid this absorbent amount of money for this collection through Venmo. And I'm like, I'd rather just have like the cash and give that to someone, but it's certainly easier and it's convenient for both parties to do that. And I'm almost afraid to say it. I mean, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. It was that easy. And usually when a transaction like that happens, they could get it out in the mail like instantly, like within the same day. As a matter of fact, the currency lot that I bought was already packaged up and ready to be dropped off at the post office the next morning. So it's just really incredible. And that's the kind of thing that I think we're seeing more of. There's more long distance transactions that are occurring, from like, I'm here in California. I just bought something from the Midwest and, it's going to be here like any day now. But I didn't really think about it until I look back. I'm like, Jesus, I just paid, a good chunk of money for this collection. And then I'm using an app to buy my coffee in the morning. I just hook up my debit card on there and I scan my app every time I go see my barista in the morning. And it's just easy. And I could honestly say I haven't touched much cash other than this wacko one right here in a little bit. And I'm afraid that we're going to see more and more of that. People, by a mistake of their total doing, are going to be hoarding dollar bills and coin that is essentially, not going to buy nearly as much because inflation is a real thing. Home prices are going up. When was the last time you guys went to a Home Depot or Lowe's to buy friggin' wood, to repair a fence or to build a barn or to craft out that gorgeous looking, planter in the backyard? And it's like, am I really paying this much for a 2x4x8? I'm like, no thanks. Stuff is just way, way expensive. But, in the beginning, people were blaming, during the pandemic, nobody had anything to do other than home improvement stuff. And that's what drove the price of this stuff. Well, no, it did not. Because a lot of the drive for this is like a total effort, okay? It's commercial use, industrial. And last time I checked, during the pandemic, early on, they weren't building homes. They weren't building some of the bigger things that required more wood and lumber and all that great stuff. So, I don't know. I'm still a little bit skeptical as to that particular reason that people are kind of like shoving in our face, like, hey, price of raw goods and materials is going up because people are using them. Okay, well, yeah, consumption is also a thing. But there's a myriad of other different factors that go into it as well. It's like there was less people working to produce the raw goods, so that will drive up the price of the material up. So, there's a lot of things going against it. But eventually things will settle out as more people, and once they stop collecting that government check, they're going to be heading over to the workplace because the money always runs dry. And they're going to go back to their work. Minimum wage is not $5.50 like it was when I started working, but at the same time, a loaf of bread's $4, a gallon of milk's $4. It's like you go to the store, it's like $4 a day. Everything you buy is $4. I'm like, oh my God, it's insane. But anyways, I wanted to talk about that. And kind of bring that up a little bit. Last thing before I go, I wasn't sure if you guys know, but I did an interview with a YouTuber by the name of Madcaster Mage MTG. And if you guys wanted to check it out, I talked about, a lot of things, the gold standard, getting into the hobby of coins. I talked about some of my favorite coins on there. It's really, actually, for as long as I've been on YouTube, it's my first kind of interview that I've done. And it's a really good one. It's like 45 minutes long. He's a little bit of an up-and-comer YouTuber, and he probably doesn't talk, the same material that you and I, that a lot of you probably like, because he deals in the world of trading card games. But he's a guy that I certainly would recommend. I'll go ahead and drop the link to that video down below in the description box if you wanted to check it out. It's a pretty good watch. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a beer. Or I heard about this the other day and I had some. It was damn good. Peanut butter whiskey. Screwball. Yeah, stuff is the shiz. And yeah, you can even get yourself a nice glass of that with one of those round spherical ice cubes in there. Whatever your deal is. But anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about, a little bit, nothing really targeted for something. It's just, various different odds and ends on the channel. Yeah, we're gonna be doing giveaways. We're gonna be giving away a lot of supplies, books, a few microscopes are in the works. Celestron models, very nice stuff. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, go to Live Coin Q&A on YouTube. That's our panel group. We do a live stream every Monday, and we are going to be giving away some really awesome stuff. I think we're going to probably give away stuff this coming Monday. I have a few items. I got a couple loops and all that we're going to, throw up on there. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got. It's kind of a bare bones kind of talking point today. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful end of the month, and I will see you for October. We are going to rocktober for sure. All right, so take care, guys. Love you, and I'll see you next time. Shake it.